Has anyone noticed that they're killing us slowly with subscriptions? There was even a Black Mirror episode about a woman that had a neural plant in her brain and it needed some kind of subscription to keep it going, but her husband couldn't keep up with the cost of it anymore. As Nick Petrov would say, it's all funked up.
A serious accusation. Also, possibly statistically correct. Corporations seem to be deliberately exploiting the fact that small recurring charges are easier for consumers to tolerate.
Not all at once. Nobody's doing this all at once. If they did it all at once, we'd fight back. This is the slow version, the boiling frog version.
Humanity's greatest weakness has always been things that are individually forgivable.
$6 here, $9 there. A special offer that becomes a regular offer. A special offer that becomes a regular offer that you forgot that you agreed to in 2023. Nobody sits down and decides that they want to spend $400 a month renting their own life back from 20 different companies. But it becomes mandatory if you want your stuff. It happens with one, just try it free one time until basically you're a tenant in your own house. Except the landlord is your smart fridge.
The fridge, notably, does not knock.
I want to walk through just how far this has actually become. Because I don't think most people have added it up in one sitting. I hadn't. And it's worse when you add it up.
It usually is.
It started reasonably. Streaming, fine. I understand that deal. Netflix provides an ongoing service, so you pay where you're using it. And when you stop, you stop. That's not a scam. It's just rent for entertainment. I have no notes. What followed was not rent. It was something closer to a hostage negotiation.
It came for the car first.
Heated seats. They came already installed, already wired, sitting there under you, doing absolutely nothing. Capable and switched off. The way it was. God, I miss that car. Now behind a monthly toggle, one manufacturer actually tried this out loud, but they got dragged for it publicly and backed off.
They did not stop pursuing subscription features. They simply stopped announcing which ones.
Then the kitchen. Fridge is selling. Advanced cooling as an upgrade path. The fridge is already cold. That was the entire job description of the fridge ever since the fridge was invented. Somehow cold has tiers now. Bronze code, silver code, and I assume some kind of platinum Arctic tier. It's going to require a phone call to cancel. Because every subscription now requires a phone call to cancel. It's never automated. Then the front door. Actual buildings, apartment offices, gating the elevator, the gym, the lobby behind a membership app. Regardless if the resident already pays to live inside the structure that the door is already attached to.
People are losing arguments with their own front doors on a semi-regular basis now, and quietly accepting it. Because what's the alternative? Sleeping in the stairwell out of principle?
And they gladly help themselves to your bank account every month. Except when they make a mistake, it takes 3 months to get a refund back to said bank account. People are being forced to subscribe to unlocking door mechanisms on their front door to get to their own apartments in America.
Then it came for the stuff we actually loved doing.
And now what's being sold is a license, a permission slip that's stored on a server somewhere that you'll never see. Revocable the instant it stops becoming profitable for anyone to remember that you ever paid for it. I once owned a movie on a site that, let's say, rhymes with e-fumes. Well, I do have a large collection of physical media that I still have that I like to keep. But this one particular movie I couldn't find, but I could only find it on digital. So I bought it. Well, let me tell you. One day the movie disappeared out of my library. Why? Because the site had temporarily lost its rights to resell the film. And then, months later, mysteriously, it reappeared back into my library. That sort of thing can really piss you off. And let me ask you, how many e-fumes libraries have you had over the years? Some media gets transferred, and some doesn't with future libraries. People built entire libraries this way. Hundreds of dollars. Thousands for some people. They can't actually know with certainty what they own anymore. That used to be an embarrassing personal problem. Now it's just Tuesday.
And then, of course, the printer.
Oh, the printer. I need everyone to really sit with the printer because I think it's the purest version of what's happening to us. For anyone who owns or has ever owned an HP printer, well, you'll now need a subscription to keep using it. It doesn't matter if your printer's from 1999. You're still going to need a subscription to run it. Thank goodness I switched up mine a long time ago.
Legally, it seems it was never yours. It was a long-term house guest with an invoice, and it was never planning to leave.
But here's the thing that actually gets me, though. More than any single example. It's not that these things are expensive. Genuinely, none of them really are expensive. That's the whole trick. If any of these cost $40 a month, people would riot. They're all 6. They're all 9. They're all, come on, it's basically nothing. Which is exactly why an entire population can end up quietly renting their whole life back to themselves without ever experiencing the one moment of outrage that would normally make someone stop and do the math. Somebody somewhere in a boardroom ran the numbers and figured out that a subscription is worth more over time than a sale. Fine, that's just business. I actually don't even blame any one company for doing this. But every single one of them made that decision completely separately, looking only at their own spreadsheet.
But what none of them calculated, because it wasn't their job to, is what happens when a person adds up all of it at once. Every company optimizing in isolation adds up to something no individual company intended, and no individual person can really see until they sit down and count it.
And I think that's what people mean now when they say that they're tired. Not tired of paying. People have always paid for things. I think people are tired of never being finished. There used to be a finish line. You bought the record, you bought the television, you bought the car. At some point it was yours, completely, permanently, boringly yours. And the story of paying for it was over. There's no finish line anymore. There's just a balance, renewing quietly, forever, and amounts too small to fight about, individually for the rest of your life, or at least for as long as you remember to keep checking your bank statement, which, let's be honest, most people don't.
Which is again the entire design.
So yeah, killing us slowly. One friendly little $6 cut at a time, until one day you look around and you're renting your car, your fridge, your front door, your hobbies, and your printer, and somehow you're still paying full, one-time, upfront, old-fashioned price for the toaster.
The last honest appliance in the house.
I give it a year.
Give it less.
Somebody's going to invent a toaster that charges you per slice. Then that's going to be known as the historical toast revolution.
The toast revolution will not be televised.
Of course not. It'll be billed monthly.